What's up, y'all? Welcome back to another video. If it's your first time here, I am Alex, a wife and mom of 2 boys under 10, and this is a space where we grow together through life lessons and bloom into the woman that we were always called to be. So if you like that type of content, then make sure you hit subscribe and let's get into this content. So I was on the internet, of course, and came across a video where the creator was talking about why she was happy that she waited to have kids, because having kids really impacts your social life, and in her opinion, it should. So I had a few thoughts on this and I wanted to share it with y'all, and drop down in the comments and let me know what you think as well. So let's get into this video.
I be scrolling through TikTok, and I'm not gonna lie, every time I see like a video of a stay-at-home mom, I get mom guilt. See, I had my baby at 23. While I wasn't a teen mom, I was still a young mom. Watching these videos now of these women who really be with their kids day in, day out, it really shows me why they say wait to have kids. Kids really should slow down your life. I'm being honest, I went through a fake identity crisis because there's just certain things you can't do anymore after you have a kid. I mean, after you have a kid, you literally have a human being that you have to be an example for. I can't party every night till 4 a.m. That's not fair to my baby. I can't go missing, because I want to take a trip every other day, because that's not fair to my baby. Listen, not every mother cares, but I do. That's why I say you should wait to have kids if you still want to be outside.
I have several thoughts. And her comments were literally on fire with people talking about, I don't know what you're talking about, girl. If you got a babysitter, go out, have fun, do what you do. And while I do agree, moms are allowed to have fun. Like, just because I'm a mom doesn't mean my whole life has ended. When you have kids, you should be sacrificing a piece of yourself for the betterment of your child. That's how I feel. But I have several thoughts, so let me get to sharing. Motherhood should slow you down. It should slow you down. Now think about it. Somebody hopefully sacrificed some of their social life for you at some point. So can we agree to take a couple of years out of our life, meaning especially when your child is super young and at their most vulnerable? Can we take a moment and decide that yes, we are going to sacrifice a few years of our life for our children because they deserve that? Kids require a certain level of attention, and my baby is attached to me at the hip. So before y'all get on me about that, trust me, I know it can be taxing when you are with your child. As a mom, kids want to be up under you, and you just sometimes want to break. Give me 15 minutes. Give me 30 minutes. I'm there with you. But the fact of the matter is, children do require time. Lots of time and attention. Like, they want their mommy. They depend on you for their emotional well-being, their physical well-being. If you're breastfeeding, maybe they don't want to take a bottle. So maybe while you have help, is that help going to comfort your child in the same way that you can? Absolutely not. Your child's emotional, physical, and developmental needs should be your number one priority as a mother. As parents, we need to prioritize our parental responsibility over our personal desires, right? The well-being of our children should be absolutely first. It's no longer me, what I want to do, where I want to go. Sometimes not even what you want to eat, okay? Because if you are breastfeeding, you can't eat certain things because those things could transfer through your milk to your child. You can't be drinking and pumping and dumping, and there's controversy about that too, so that's not the topic. Let me stay on task. But it's no longer just about us. Sacrifices are 100% a part of parenthood. Like, we're not gonna have the same freedom to just do what we please anymore, especially when our children are super young. In the last video, I talked about how you can't just run to the gas station real quick and run in and hop in and hop out. No, you have your child with you, so you have to slow down. Think about your child. What does your child need before you take the next step to do anything? Even things as simple as going to the store, staying out late. Your children have to wake up early in the morning for school. You're disrupting their sleep if you're coming in and out, picking them up and transporting them from the caregiver's house to your home. Impromptu trips, being gone from your child for long periods of time, being gone from your child on a whim without emotionally preparing them forward. Frequent vacations and things like that. All those things may not be as practical as they once were once you have kids. And on top of that, all the money that you spend on going out, and I don't know everybody's financial situation, but just in general, the money that you spend on going out, taking trips, buying clothes for the trip, bottles, meals, going out to brunch every weekend. I know when I was single, baby, and this was back in 2015, 16, 17, back then I would be going out, and on average I would be having, like, me and my best friend used to call it $300 days. Like, every day of the week that we went out, Saturday, I'm spending $300. Sunday, I'm spending $300 because I'm eating, I'm hopping from place to place, I'm drinking, I'm paying for different things, I'm buying outfits, I'm shopping. Like, I have other things that I need to buy now. I have a 3-year-old, and he just came home yesterday talking about, Mommy, my pants, my knees. Like, he's been outside playing, and now his pants got a hole in the knee. So that means I need to go buy him some new pants. And I need to buy more than one pair, because if he tore that one pair up, he gonna tear the next 3 pair up too. So money that we once spent on spontaneous vacations and brunches, like, nowadays, I'm buying Paw Patrol toys. I'm buying clothes. I'm buying snacks. The amount of times that I have to re-up on snacks, that sends my grocery bill through the roof. So while I still have money, to buy things for myself and do things that I enjoy, I'm looking at the money with my third eye now, with a fine-tooth comb now, because I don't want to be spending frivolously when you never know what could happen. Maybe my kid now has to go to the doctor, it's flu season, or doctor's appointments, clothes, food, snacks, things that go on at school, extracurricular activities. Also, savings. We need to start putting money aside early for our children, taking some of that money that we would be spending on ourselves freely just on junk, and putting some of that money aside to prepare for their education, to prepare for 2-3 years down the line when they want to join the soccer team or the football team, and they need uniforms and shoes and fees and all these things. We need to be financially preparing for not only our future, but our children's future. And sometimes we just gonna have to say, maybe I can't take that trip to, Santorini right now. I'm gonna save for that, take that trip next year, and for now, put this money aside for the kids. Just a thought. In the video, she also mentioned, she was on the internet and she started to feel a certain way. First of all, let me say, if any corner of the internet is making you feel guilty or jealous, or like you haven't arrived at this place where you're supposed to be by a certain time, then I'm gonna hold your hand and say this, but it's time to give the internet a break. Like, if you're watching videos online and they're making you feel mom guilt, then those are not the videos that you should be watching, unless it's this video and you're just feeling convicted about, going out and leaving your kid at home. In the video, she mentioned, the stay-at-home moms that are so, with their kids all the time and this and that. As a mom, for me personally, and I'm only going to speak for myself, being at home with my family brings me so much joy. Like, I find the joy in the funny little things that my kids say, the things that they do. Like my 3-year-old, every day he comes in here saying something new. I tell my mom, Mama, can you believe he said this? And she's like, wow, I just can't believe it. Because you see them grow up from this little tiny baby, and now they're walking, they're talking, they're saying all kind of things. Watching my kids grow has honestly brought me and my husband like even closer together. Like our relationship is even deeper. It helps me to connect better with other parents. It helps me to connect better with some of my coworkers, some of my family members, and even my own mother. Becoming a mother myself has just really helped me to deepen some of the connections I already had, but in another way. So it brings me so much joy to be with my children all the time. I'm planning event after event after event, and it's kid stuff. Like, I'm a big kid myself, and I enjoy those things. This past weekend, we had tickets to go see Hot Wheels live, and when I tell you, me and my husband was in there having the time of our lives, like we were having a good ass time. He was recording, like he was enjoying it more than the kids. I mean, he was a big kid that day. But the family activities and the things we do together are way more meaningful to me than, honey, standing on the section couches and drinking all night long. And believe me, I have lived a whole life and I done it all. I have been in Atlanta since 2011, and I have done all the things that Atlanta has to offer. So it's like, I don't want to do that no more. On top of that, not only do I don't care to do those things anymore. So when she mentioned like waiting to have children, I 100% agree. And I have even been telling my own brother this. He's 27 and he wants a family. And I've been telling him, take your time. Even my friends who are in their mid-30s like me, and they're like, oh, family kids, I still tell them, take your time. Being a parent is nothing that you just want to rush into. It's something that you want to think about. You want to be sure. If you have the option to, be sure and think about it. I know sometimes pregnancies are surprises. My own pregnancy was a surprise, okay? I got engaged, and 2 months later, honey, we was just having a little too much fun. And surprise, here comes my son. But at that point, like I said, I had already done it all. I've been to the clubs. I've taken the trips. I have been out and about watching the sun come up. I've been out and about during the weekday and rolling out of bed, half hungover from what I did the night before. Like, I have lived my life. And my life is not over. It's plenty more life to live. But the second half of my life is just going to be, and actually it's not even the second half. It's more like the second third of my life. It's going to be lived in a different way with my family. I truly believe, and I don't know, if you had your child young, drop down in the comments and let me know some of the benefits you see from having your child at a young age, because it's kind of twofold. So I was living, honey, moving and grooving up until the age of 33, because that's when I had my son, when I was 33 years old. However, my husband had his first son at 27. That's on him. But when I think about my stepson's mom, like, we have a good relationship and I talk to her all the time. Like, in the 20s, while I'm out partying, you're at home with the child in your 20s, and you watching all your friends go out and do all kind of things and move however they want. But on the flip side, now I am sitting down in my 30s, and my stepson lives with us full time. So his mom is able to be traveling. We're in our 30s. We're a little bit more financially stable. So you have more money to do things bigger than maybe you had when you were in your 20s, right? Like, you can do things on a grander scale. But are you playing financial catch up? I don't know. I don't know what it's like to have been a younger mom. I can only imagine if you become a mom in your early 20s. And in your 20s is generally when people don't make as much money. That's when we make the least amount of money, when we have the least amount of experience. And I can imagine your money going more towards your child and you not having a lot for yourself. So are you playing financial catch up in your 30s when your kids are a little bit older and you don't have to spend as much? You don't have to pay for daycare? I don't know. But what I will say is, while I wasn't the biggest saver in my 20s, I can't sit here and say, oh, I have all this money now to spend on my kid because I saved in my 20s. No, I have more money now for my kids because I'm earning more, because I have more experience. I was able to climb the corporate ladder, work hard, work late, move up, and get the money that I wanted. Then I had a kid. So it could be two different sides of the coin. I only have one side of the experience. So if you're on the flip side, let me know. I got derailed a little bit on that point. But what I was wanting to say is that doing these family-centered activities has, that's something that I want my children to see. We are role models for our children. Children observe and they mimic their parents' behavior. If you are, trust me, think back to your own parents. I remember my dad as somebody who was always going out. My daddy always went out. He was always going somewhere. He was always doing stuff. My mom was always at home. And I picked up more of my dad's behavior. And I subconsciously, it's not like I said, ooh, my daddy be going out to the club. I want to go out to the club. Like, no, I didn't sit around and make that decision subconsciously because that's what I saw. In turn, that's what I did. I mentioned to y'all, I've done all the things. Yes, I was a huge partier, huge clubber from... It even started in high school. Like when I was growing up, I'm from Memphis, Tennessee. We had clubs that high school age kids could go to. Maybe they still have those, maybe they don't. But me and my friends was in the clubs all the way up until my 30s. So I have spent a long time in the club, and I have kind of a fun party type personality. Like I threw parties in college. Like I've always liked that. The life chose me. I didn't choose the life. It chose me. My daddy chose it, and then it chose me. So I say all that to say, being present and prioritizing your family, it sets a really, really strong example of responsibility and care. And whether you think you are, whether you think your kids are paying attention or not, they are. They see what you're doing. They know how often you're leaving them. They know these things. Think back to yourself as a kid. Your mama and daddy probably was like, they just a kid. They don't know. But you knew, didn't you? You know. Kids know. They know, y'all. Let's not act like kids can't catch on. Let's not sit here and act like kids don't know what be going on, because they do. They may not know the intricate details or the why behind the situation, but please believe they can observe and they're going to come to their own conclusions, okay? On top of that, y'all know y'all be leaving these kids with the grandmamas, who grandmamas be like, your mama always going somewhere. Mama, I know you watching this. You be saying it too, don't you? Like, let's not pretend like our kids can't observe and that people are all also saying things around our kids that shapes their thought process. Like, things that we say and do shape our kids. So if you are not ready to give up part of your social life, the majority of your social life, then it could be a sign that you're not ready to be a parent yet. Parenting requires selflessness. You should be putting your kids first. It may not be the right time for you to become a mom if you are not ready to give some of that up. On the flip side of all of that, before y'all tear me down, moms deserve a life too. Let me be the first one to say it. Moms deserve a life too. You lose so much of yourself in motherhood. You can still socialize. You can still travel. You can still go out with your friends. You can still engage in your own personal interests. All I'm saying is that should take a back seat to being a mother. Support systems exist for a reason. My mom and between my mom and my mother-in-law, me and my husband literally have the opportunity to do whatever we want. If we want to take a weekend trip, either one of those two parties will take our kids for the weekend. Now, my mom, when me and my husband went on our honeymoon, we did wait 1 year because, as I mentioned, we were engaged when I got pregnant. So when we got married, my son was 4 months old. So that was young. We weren't trying to take a honeymoon right then. We waited a year. Even in the year that we waited, we went on a 5-day, 4-night vacation to Curacao. So over them waters, out the country. My mother kept my son for 5 days. And while he was safe, while he was loved and cared for and nurtured in that time, he still had episodes of tantrum because he wanted his mom. Like, he wanted me. He missed me. He didn't know how to express it. Yes, he was with his grandmother. Yes, she kept his routine as best as possible because she was still taking him to school during that time. But he was cutting up that week, y'all. He was cutting up. When I even came back and took him to school, the lady at the school, like the director who greets people at the door, she was like, "Ooh, yes, you're back." She was like, "He was having a hard time while you were gone." She was like, "I could tell something was off. I didn't know what it was, but he just was not the same this week." And my mom, Mama, I know you told me. My mom was like, "It's too soon." I was like, "It's not too soon. He'll be fine. He was fine overall, but he was a little bit traumatized them couple days, y'all. He didn't know if I left him for good. He didn't know if I was ever coming back. Honey, where is my mama and why is she not here? Okay? Kids, we have the support systems, and it's okay to leverage your support system. You want to go out? Thank you. We need to be able to step away occasionally to do things for ourselves, to have a bit of normalcy. I agree with that. We are not neglecting our kids just because we take a vacation. We are not neglecting our kids just because we get a babysitter. We have these support systems so that they can help us when we need the help. Let's just not abuse that. Children benefit when their mother is the most happiest. If you aren't taking any breaks from your kid and you are just with them 24/7 and it's causing you to be in a depressive state, or if it's causing you to be in a state of anxiety and your cup is empty and you have nothing else to give, your children are going to feel that. So, yes, moms, we need a break. Our children benefit when their mothers are the most happiest. So while we need to slow our social life down for these children, we still need to be happy and whole ourselves. And if we're coming to a point where we're not feeling happy and whole because we're overwhelmed, we haven't had any adult contact, we're sitting around with kids 24/7, no breaks, no, nails looking busted, hair toe up, clothes got holes in them, we're not at our best, then that feeling is going to pour over into our children. So happy wife, happy life, happy mom, happy life. Same thing applies. So let's talk about quality over quantity. And what I mean by that is that you do not have to be with your kids 24/7 to be a good mom. You don't. Send them babies to school. Send those babies to daycare. Send them babies to their grandma's house every once in a while. Like, You do not have to be with them 24/7 to prove anything. But when you are with them, make sure that those moments are meaningful. Make sure you are present for them, that you're not just scrolling, ignoring your kid. Your child wants to play and you can't give them no time because you just need a mental break to do something else. Just like the last point, happy mom, happy child. Make sure when you are with your children, you are present and giving them the time that they need. Society often pressures moms to sacrifice everything for their kids. You just a mama and that's it. That is not true. We are moms, we are strong and proud, but we are still human beings. So that is a very harmful narrative, and I do not subscribe to that. Moms need breaks. Moms matter. Moms are people too. And there is nothing wrong with stepping away and, letting your nanny or your babysitter or your mom or your mother-in-law or your friend take over for you for a couple hours, for a day, for a couple days while you go on vacation. I don't believe that's what her video was about. I believe she was really just trying to say, like, hey, we have kids now, so let's put our kids first before everything else that we want to do. We can't be everywhere with everybody doing everything. As moms, we just can't. We have children. I can't drop everything and go out tonight just because I was invited. I don't want to be dropping my kid off every time I turn around. Do I want to have breaks? Yes. Do I want my kids to have their own bonded relationships with their grandparents? Yes, I do. But if it's getting to the point where you just trying to drop your kid off at overnight daycare so you can go to the club, or you leaving your kid with any and everybody just to do something that is not important or not going to result in the betterment of your life, i.e. job interviews and things of that nature, then is that something that we really should be doing? No, we should not be putting social events, partying, clubbing, brunches, and things like that over the well-being of our children. We shouldn't. We should not be overstressing the grandparents because we want to go out and have fun. We shouldn't. Can we leverage them from time to time? Yes. But every time we turn around 2-3 times a week, I'm not having you to watch my kids just so I can do something that is not a job. You know what I mean? An audition. Something that's potentially going to elevate me in some way. So let's just come together as a community and support each other as moms. Yes, moms need breaks. Yes, moms need support. Yes, if you have your child at a younger age, you are going to miss out on some things, as you should. When you have your kids at an older age, you're still going to miss out on some things, as you should. When you become a parent, it is all about sacrifice, and it's all about them babies. So I would love to hear from some of you guys. Did you have your child early? Did you have your child later? What were the pros and cons? Because I truly want to know. I want to know. Sometimes I think, dang, if I had my kids when I was in my 20s, I could be chilling now. And I am chilling now, but it's like, what would I be trying to do now that I'm not already doing? I'm 36 years old. Like, even if I was single, I would not be going to the clubs. I might be catching up on some sleep if my kids were already like 10, 11, 12. I might, be able to focus on my job a little bit more. I might be able to, I don't know, just have more me time. But would I have wanted to sacrifice my 20s for that? I can't say that I would. I think having my children later has benefited me in ways that I would not want to go back and take that away from my 20s. Like in my 20s, I had all the fun in the world, and I did exactly what I was supposed to do as a 20-year-old woman living in Atlanta, baby. Brunching, partying, working, doing events, staying out late, grinding, getting myself together, all the things that have led me up to where I am right now. I wouldn't take that back for anything in the world. I wouldn't trade it. I wouldn't do anything differently. But I know there are some people, that's just me, right? There are some people out there who could have had a completely different experience. Maybe they felt like in my 20s I was broke, and now I'm in my 30s and I got money. So now I want to be able to do all the high class things or the more elevated things. And I'm happy that my children are older and they can babysit themselves and I ain't got to worry about it. So it's pros and cons to each, and I would love to hear y'all's point of view. So drop down in the comments and let me know what you thought about what homegirl said in the video. Let me know what you thought about the points that I brought up. If you like this type of content, if you like discussions that can get a little spicy, because every time we talk about mom life, motherhood, and these kids, honey, people either get offended or they agree or they don't agree. As moms, we have really strong opinions about motherhood, and that's what this community is for. Shared experiences, opportunities to grow. So if you like this type of content, hit that subscribe button, and I will see you in the next one.